That's fish. That's fish. He's got it. He's got it. Got it. There we go. Number one. There we go. That was so cool. I literally pitched right up shallow, and this guy cranked it. Couldn't tell how big he was. He was actually running pretty quickly with that bait. That's first one of the day. It's actually my first fish right there on the Googan Baits NUKE Punch. Important little fish. Nice one. You could definitely tell he's been up in that grass because of how green he is. Came right out from up shallow. Let's get him back. All right, guys, number one on the day. That's an important little fish. Absolutely killed it. Let's get a nice little release on this guy. That was so sick. I was just pitching up this little Googan Baits NUKE Punch right up shallow. And I was just pitching right up around this grass line. There's actually a fallen tree that you can't see in there. A little bit of timber. And of course, I kind of pull up on my rod. I feel a little tension. My line starts running to the left there. It's not a giant, but that's number one of the day. And like I said, first fish on the Googan Baits NUKE Punch right there. Just little green pumpkin color. Small 1/8 ounce weight on there. Super slow rate of fall. Got a little bit of spike it on the bottom. That is a good sign. That is one fish in really just a few casts of being at this spot. So it's a good sign though. There's number one. That's fish. He's running with it. He's absolutely running with it. He's got to have it. Oh, dang it, dude. Oh my God. How did he not take that bait? Literally knotted up my claws as well. Just a really shallow little corner right here. I mean, I didn't even twitch that bait a single time. Maybe popped it up once. That dude was on it. You guys can see what I'm standing in right now. With it being so flooded, it is just, it's pretty bad. That was definitely a good bite right there. Couldn't quite see it. We've been having a ton of rain, which is why it is, of course, so flooded, as you guys can see from what I'm walking on. But also, it's kind of chalked up the water a little bit. It isn't quite as pristine and clear as it usually is, which it's not always a bad thing. But in a pond like this, a small pond, this is a pond that I really like. Ooh, that was a bite. Yep, he's got it. Got it. There we go. Yep, there we go. Maybe a little bit bigger one. There we go. Get out of that grass, buddy. Maybe a slightly bigger one. There we go. It's number two of the day. Definitely quite a bit bigger. Not a giant, but a nice fish. Absolutely cranked it. Barely hooked right in the side of the mouth there. That was so cool. Again, that was really the second fish that killed it right as soon as it hit the water. Definitely a little bit better fish right there. Give him around a pound, maybe a pound and a quarter if we're lucky. Let's get him back. All right, guys, number two on the day. Sick little eat right up shallow there. Let's get him back. I know it kind of looks a little weird me throwing him that far, but it's much better for me to throw him back below those or behind those weeds rather than try to release him here and definitely get stuck up in some of that stuff. But I was just saying, before that fish interrupted me, if you want to call it that, I'll definitely take it though. We're getting a ton of rain, which is causing this water to be super kind of really chocolate milk. It's pretty chalked up. It's not as easy to see, and this is a pond that I love to sight fish in, just because it's so small and there's so many fish that like to hang out up shallow. But I mean, it's not always a bad thing because that gives a fish a little bit more comfort, a little bit more cover. So you're gonna sneak up on those fish a little bit easier. It's two fish just taking a really quick rotation around this tiny little pond, just taking little pitches, little casts, anywhere that kind of looks like has a little bit of grass, little fallen timber. That's two fish pretty quickly on that NUKE Punch. Absolutely killing him today. Let's get him back. Might be a bass on the bed right there. Something's got it. Oh my God, he's running. Oh my God, he's running. Got it. Yep, there we go. That was so sick. Little guy. Saw somewhere that it seemed like this bass was maybe guarding fry. I didn't know, maybe this is the male. There might be a bigger female down there as well. Seemed like it was something was guarding fry or maybe on a bed. Thought I saw some little bass in there, and it kept chasing the bluegill out. So of course I took a pitch in and cranked it. Let's get him back. That was a cool little bite. Little guy, definitely the smallest one of the day, but I'll take it. Getting on that little NUKE punch. Like I said, I saw a little area that bass seemed to be chasing off some bluegill, maybe from a school of fry. I thought I saw a school of fry, but it could have just been a bed as well. And of course, I pitched in there. As soon as it hit the water, my line just started running in that direction. Absolutely took off. Could have been the male. There might be a bigger female on that bed as well. So we'll take a few more casts in there. Definitely seems like there's a lot of activity right up on this corner. I've seen a bunch of good-sized bass up shallow. They're so skittish. This bass is totally gonna eat it. There he is. Yep, he ate it. He's got it. Got it. There we go. Number one. Number one. Little guy. There we go. Just walking around this pond. Of course, I came right underneath this tree. I've been seeing a ton of fish up shallow. They've been pretty skittish so far. Pitched up 1-2 times for this guy. He absolutely destroyed it. Number one on the day. Nice little fish. Definitely up shallow in some of this warm weather. Let's get him back. All right, guys, number one on the day. You can see he's a little beat up right there on the top. Let's get him back in the water. There he goes. As I said, I've been seeing a ton of fish up shallow, but for the most part, they've been pretty skittish. You can definitely tell that in this warm weather, this water's a lot warmer and these fish are coming up shallow. And I've seen a few that seem pretty protective over just a little area, so there could be some fish spawning right now on beds. But I'm gonna have to keep kind of working around. That fish just came on the little Googan baits Googan baits drag and drop on just a little wacky rig. I'm starting out with just a small bait that I can pitch up, keep it above this grass, but I'm really gonna take a rotation with this and then come back. Oh, some just busted on top right there. And then come back maybe a little bit slower, maybe with a little bit bigger bait, and try to find some of these big fish, because I have seen a few that, like I said, possibly could be bedding right now. So it's a good sign. Number one on the day. Oh, there's a fish. No way. What's that? Number two? Little crappie. That's so cool. There are crappie, bluegill, bass in this pond. Really everything you could think of. So that's a cool little fish. Number two on the day. Not necessarily the target species, but came out of absolutely nowhere and just destroyed it. I'll take it. Cool little black crappie, I think that is. Let's get him back. All right, guys, number two on the day. That's pretty sick. Same little spot here. Seems like there's quite a few fish kind of around under this tree. There's a bunch of grass as well. Second species of the day as well, just on this little wacky rig. Let's get back in there and we'll get on some big fish. I could feel it. Seems like there's a lot of activity up shallow and kind of around these reedy areas. Let's get back in there. That's a fish. He's got it. Got it. There we go. What is this? Little guy. Number three. Second bass of the day. I pretty much pitched my line in, and it's only about a foot deep there, but my line kept sinking. And of course, it was because just a little bass took it. Not an upgrade, but number two on the day. Let's get him back. All right, guys. Number two. Cool little fish right there. Not a upgrade in size, but we've definitely figured out that at least the aggressive fish seem to be up in these kind of shallow, reedy areas. All three of my bites, both of the bass and the crappie, came right up shallow, especially under some of these kind of shaded areas. If you guys can't see, just a little overhanging tree right here, some grass up shallow. Not a very big fish, but I have seen a few actually really nice fish up shallow. So I think it's just a matter of time here. I'm gonna keep kind of pitching up and around these grass lines. And of course, I'll take a few casts towards the middle. Maybe there's something else hanging in some of that deeper water since it is so hot today. But good little start though. Let's get back in there.